everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Coming to you today for weekly recap. Hashtag weekly recap. You know what it is. And if you don't, I'll explain it to you real quick. So I am a owner-operator, leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I don't talk about the carrier, sorry. Mostly reefer freight. I'll tell you about the week. We go over everything. I tell you kind of the loads I did, why I did them, the week, the days, everything. And just try to provide information. In no way am I bragging with these numbers, because half the people tell me I'm making too much and half the people tell me I don't make enough. So I feel like it's a pretty honest way to go about it. It's just information. Don't put too much heartache into it. I know some people get worked up over stuff, but it is what it is. Also, I need to address one thing. You see a lot of people on YouTube doing the same thing I do, like the content that I've tried to create and come up with. A lot of people they riding the wave these days, the cash wave. So I got a new hashtag for them. Hashtag cash did it first. Come on. Just blatantly ripping off, it off. Here's my advice, guys. You're never going to get anywhere on YouTube by just copying the hell out of people. Come up with some original ideas and grow a personality and go about it that way. Maybe you'll get somewhere. But anyway, back to the moral of the story here. Let's talk about weekly recap. So if there's anything I forgot, I'll try to explain it along the way. So this week will be from the end of September, early October, and this is a full 7-day week right here. And I hate to admit that because this ain't a good week. It's not great. Okay, I put it that way. It's not great. It's okay. It's not great. But I did this first load. Not a bad paying load. Honestly, I was like, okay, I can live with that. We're talking Minnesota to South Carolina on this load. It was 42,000 pounds, 38 degrees, 64 empty miles, 1208 on the loaded miles, 1272 total miles, $4,200 that load paid. I thought it was an okay load. I've loaded out of this place before, but it's been a couple years ago. It's not a place I normally deal with. But it was very good. The load, as far as it loaded within about an hour of me showing up, and it unloaded about the same. Very small facilities on both ends. I enjoy it. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing more of them, but we'll see how it comes up. So that took me down to South Carolina, and if I'm not mistaken, that unloaded on a Monday. So I unloaded that on a Monday. I had another load set up for a Tuesday over in North Carolina, and a pretty good ways away in North Carolina. And we were like, okay, well, we'll try to put together a small load or something, because I got unloaded very early Monday, and this Tuesday load didn't load till like noon, or I think it was about 2 p.m. was the appointment time. So we were going to try to get a load that picked up Monday and delivered like early Tuesday, try to work something like that out, because I do the load out of North Carolina a lot. We work with that customer a lot, so it's one of those things, like, if we had to, we could probably load that a little later than what the schedule was. But freight was awful, absolutely awful out of South Carolina. We was in like the Greenville area on a Monday. There was nothing. And I had already agreed to the load from North Carolina to Minnesota. The second load, North Carolina to Minnesota on the second load. There was nothing to bridge the gap. So I just started, slow rolling my deadhead to North Carolina. And, worst case scenario, that was the plan. Worst case scenario, I would just roll, over to North Carolina empty. And that's what I did, because there was no loads out of that area going to where I needed to be. Not anywhere near where I needed to be. It was like my deadhead was 327 miles over there to North Carolina to get that load. I honestly was looking for a load maybe in like the, somewhere, because I was in Greenville and I was going over to North Carolina, you know, kind of a populated area in North Carolina. So I was like, if I could just get something that kind of goes in between a little bit there, you know, like a $500-600 load, just to tie over, you know, the day of not being able to really make any money and to cover some of this deadhead cost. Did not work out like that. The freight volume right now is amazingly bad. Like, I don't know. That's what bothers me in this market more than anything right now, is the freight volume. I can't connect my loads. Like, you know, most of the stuff I do is like, if it's not direct customer, it's a lot of like broker loads and a lot of like broker loads we do consistently, I guess I should say, not just broker loads, but like broker loads that don't even hit the load board. You know, it's a lot of like email lists and you know, just personal connections and stuff like that. So that's what's hurting me in this freight market right now with the low volumes. I'm not able to connect my loads together like I need to, and it's rough. I mean, that's kind of, you know, my complaint in the market right now is the freight volumes. So let's talk about this other load back to Minnesota. Now that's what I like to do. I like to go out and back. So when they called me and said, hey, I think like I loaded that first load on a Friday. They said, hey, we've already got a North Carolina load back if you want to go over there and do that. We talked about the plan of, you know, we're going to try to put something together. I looked at the load boards for Monday. There was jack. They were calling everybody they knew, emails, you know, the whole thing. It just wasn't no load to go from Greenville over into North Carolina like I wanted to. You know, and I'm willing to do drive-in or reefer on that situation. It's just not there right now. So that's what we deal with. But the second load was North Carolina. Like I said, North Carolina back up to Minnesota. That was a 40,000 pound, 34 degrees. That was a chicken load, but I load out of this facility all the time. This is like a chicken warehouse. So normally the load's already there and been there for like, you know, a shift at least. Because it usually comes on the trailer at the correct temperature. You know, like it ain't one of those chicken loads where you put it on the trailer at 50 degrees and then they want you to run it at, you know, 30. But that was 40,000 pounds, 34 degrees on that one. Like I said, 327 miles of deadhead on that load. Just keeping it real with you. Just keeping it real with you. I could BS you and tell you, oh, this load paid blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, you got to drive 327 miles to get it. Now, this was the best paying load I could find out of the area. That's why I agreed to it. That's why I actually agreed to it the Friday before. That's how like better paying it was. Like stuff on the load board was paying like back to Minnesota, you know, we're talking like $2,200-$2,300 back to Minnesota. You know, these loads are paying $3,000 back to Minnesota. So I gotta take it. You know, even if I got a deadhead 327 miles to get it, it's like you ain't gonna make no better money doing nothing else. So we did that. 1327 empty, 1330 loaded. Whew, that's a lot of miles for a $3,000 load. So that's what we do. That's what we do. You know, it's like it's a rough rate, but it's like you can sit there and go, oh, I wouldn't do it for less than 35. You're not going to get it for 3,500. I mean, I'd love to be at 3,500 on that load, but it ain't gonna work. You don't get to name your price. You know, like some of these guys on YouTube watch because they think they're the price line negotiator. You know, they think they call up and just all of a sudden, hey, money falls from the sky. Well, maybe it does for, you know, some people if you got certain kind of influence, you know, and you want them to, you know, like let's give a for example here. If you had a brokerage and you wanted to draw attention to that brokerage, you could get yourself a popular YouTuber and have them talk about the great paying load they got from you. Well, it serves their purpose. Now, the average guy calls up, they don't need you to, you know, tell your 3 friends about their, you know, about their brokerage. So watch some of that. You know, some of this stuff on YouTube, you got to keep a real sharp eye on them. And anyway, that's the way it was. Wasn't a big fan of that situation. This week is kind of one of those meh weeks. You know, I feel like feel like I put 3,000 miles on the truck, and it was a hard-earned 3,000 miles. You know, it's like a lot of mountains, a lot of heavy weight. You know, just trucking. It was trucking. So anyway, total for the week, $7,200 gross revenue for the week. My 80% is $5,760. Let's talk about, let's break down the week a little bit here, are the numbers of it. 2,929 all miles, 2929 all miles on that. 391 miles deadhead on the week. Ouch, 15% deadhead. And it just is what it is. Loaded miles, 2538 on the loaded miles. Let's break down per mile on this. Ouch. Get ready for the pain. Get you a leave out and get ready to pop a few of them for me. 245 all miles. Ouch. Now, that's not horrible. I can make a living at that, but to come from where we were to where we are, it's a little painful. It's a little painful. So my 80% of that, $1.96 a mile, my 80% of that. Now, it got a lot better if you just do the loaded miles. See, that's a YouTube trick. Only talk about the loaded miles. Don't talk about the deadhead. Deadhead kills views. I'm just saying. But I have to do it. I gotta do it. Gotta be honest with you, because yeah, as I say, I'd rather you hate me for the truth than to love me for a lie. Put that on a t-shirt. Actually, I will. Never mind. That's my idea. Don't put that. You people that copy everything I do, don't you go copying my saying and put it on a t-shirt, damn it. But anyway, 289 a loaded mile. You know, if you talk about the loaded, that ain't bad, 289. And this was a rough week. Like, the load boards were giving nothing for the week, like nothing. You know, I even try to say, okay, well, let's scrap the load from North Carolina. Let's see what Greenville's got to offer, or South Carolina or Atlanta's got to offer back to Minnesota. Nothing. Like, I don't even care. Like, out of Greenville, I don't even care what kind of rate you're willing to pull it for. There was nothing back to, like, nothing back to Chicago, nothing back to Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, it was just nothing. At one point, I looked like a 200-mile radius around Greenville, and I think it was 9 loads available. And that was dry van and reefer. 9 loads available. So, it was a rough one. So let's talk about veritable cost. You know, I like them veritable cost to be low. $23.19 on the diesel. That's a lot on diesel for me, but we pulling mountains, and we had to run hard because it was like the load down was okay. I kind of cruised that one, but that load back, you know, that was a 1,300-mile load, and it was 2 days. It was picked up on a Tuesday. Let me check my dates here. Picked up on a Tuesday, delivered on a Thursday. So technically, I guess this was a 6-day week. 6-day week, excuse me. I was thinking September had 31 days. My bad. So this was a 6-day week right here. So anyway, I was pushing it. Reefer, $130 on reefer fuel, $48 on def, $36 on tolls. I think West Virginia Turnpike was the only tolls I dealt with, and scaled both loads, $26 on both of those loads. I am getting more confident in my scale on my truck. I mean, I've had this thing for 3 years, but I don't know. I have a hard time. Like, I trust that thing. I know I'm good with it. My rescales are like almost a thing of never. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I rescaled a load. But for $13, if I'm already stopping at a truck stop, which on both of these I were going to stop and get fuel anyway, for $13 I'm hitting the scale. It's not worth an overweight ticket for nothing. For like, I'm already there. I paid a $13. It's you know what I mean? If I don't spend it on scales, I'll just give it to the tax man. Oh, zing. Zing. Speaking of that, I would like to announce I have a new video series that's coming out. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you're subscribing now. I got a new video series coming out. It's called Campside with Cash. And it's where I light a small fire under your ass. Come on. Come on. That's worth a like right there. Am I right? All right. So let's go over these numbers. Total variable $2,559. We bring over my $5,760. We subtract the $2,559 from that, and that leaves me poverty level money. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Very blessed. I'm not complaining. $3,201 after veritable expenses. $600 goes to the maintenance account. That leaves me $2,601. $2,601 left to do what I have to do. 6-day work week. Pretty sure I went home after this. It's been a couple weeks since I did these. I think I'm like 2 weeks behind right now. Trying to work on getting caught back up, but you know, I keep running these crazy loads that are like, you know, day and a half on 1,200 miles. It's unreal. It's unreal. So you'll know more about that in the future. I got some great weekly recaps coming, but boy, in this market, we earn those good weeks. Let me tell you, there is no more of these, you know, where I drive 2,000 miles and make, you know, $10,000 weeks for me right now. Like, if you're getting it like that, more power to you. God bless you. But for me right now, if I want 10 grand a week, I got to be willing to put in like, you know, 3,000 miles minimum. And then I get weeks like this where I put in the 29 on the miles and I barely break 7,000. So it's the reality of trucking we live in right now. So just is what it is. But that's weekly recap, everybody. If you kind of liked it, if you liked it a lot, smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Make sure you ring that bell so you get notified every time I put out a video. You know, when I light fires under asses, you don't want to miss those videos. And I don't know, I appreciate everybody. I'm going to put a little clip in here at the end where you can watch me talk about a product I endorse. So check that out. Click on the links in the description down below. And check out my second channel, Trucking with Diabetes, over there. Thanks everybody for watching. I much appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care of each other out there. And remember, people are more important than trucking. Bye. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around. Just want to talk to you a little bit about a company I'm partnering with, Mighty Products, spelled M-Y-T-E-E. You flatbed guys probably already know them. They are huge into flatbed, straps, tarps, everything, toolboxes. I mean, they sell everything for trucking. Go check them out. Links are down there in the comments and in the description of the video. Check it out. I really appreciate them reaching out and wanting to work with my channel. It helps me out tremendously if you shop through my link. I would much appreciate it. And let me know what you think about them if you do buy something from them. Thanks. Appreciate your feedback. Bye.
Fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.